Welcome in, everybody. September 29th, 2023. It is a Friday, the final payoff pitch of the 2023 MLB regular season. Brendan Glasheen, your host, joined by Charlie DiSturco and BJ Cunningham for this Friday episode. Fellas, we made it. We're not quite at 162 yet. Still a weekend to go, and then some chaos on Monday. Because the weather just doesn't cooperate in September and really all year, if we're being honest. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast if you haven't done so already. I'll give you a reason why. Big announcement for the postseason. We've been teasing it the last couple of episodes. We'll be coming to you every day, every weekday during the MLB postseason, Monday through Friday. We will be with you for playoff coverage here at Payoff Pitch. We've got the written content, actionnetwork.com, free to download Action Network app, but also on the podcast side, Monday through Friday. Monday, we'll start with our wild card preview, and we'll rotate analysts as we've done all regular season, and we'll give out best bets. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. Fun time of year. We also appreciate your 5-star ratings and reviews that you have left throughout the course of the season. Please do so if you haven't done so already. We'll compile them each week during the playoffs, pick a few of our favorites, give out a free 1-year subscription to Action Pro if you do leave us a review during the postseason episodes. So do so to get a chance to win. So there you go. And then again, more we'll update as we go, as the games kind of shrink and more series finish, et cetera, et cetera. We do have a slate today, though. There is a slate today. We're sweating some win totals into the final weekend. 4 or 5 meaningful games remaining. So from what we can pluck from the meaningful games, or even the meaningless ones, Charlie, you can go first. What do you got for a best bet on this final Payoff Pitch regular season episode?
Yeah, I must be sick or something, because I'm going to the Chicago Cubs and I'm backing Kyle Hendricks, a guy that I've long faded just, the last couple seasons. The Cubs are a disaster and they're free falling right now, but I think this is a good spot to back them. They're right around a pick 'em. Colin Ray on the mound. And these are two pitchers that I think Hendricks is actually the better one here. He limits hard hit rate right around 30%. And he's actually in the top 6% of all pitchers in chase rate, which is like pretty surprising. He's got great command, limits barrels, puts the ball on the ground, just about everything that you need out of a pitcher. Obviously his worst attribute is that he doesn't throw the ball hard, so he doesn't strike out that many guys. And his expected batting average right around that 275 mark. But like, Colin's not that much better. He's in the bottom 12% of all pitchers in average exit velo and has about a 15% hard hit rate higher than Hendricks. And his strikeout rate is just a couple of percentages higher. So when I look at this game, and obviously we talk about on the last episodes, and it's hard to cap motivation, but the Brewers have the division locked up. And obviously maybe they want to just get their division rival out of the way, but there's an extra oomph with this Cubs team behind Hendricks, who's a veteran, who's pitching well in form. And in a must-win game, now that they're a half a game out, and obviously the Marlins Mets still have to finish that game in the 9th, but a half a game out, this is as must-win as it comes for the Cubs. So I like them here at near a pick 'em all the way to -120.
Okay, very good. I'm seeing some shift in the money line prices right now, with some juice on the Milwaukee side. Okay. It's not quite BJ chicken and beer style 2011 Red Sox for the Cubs just yet, but man, that fly ball in right center against the Braves, that was pretty bad.
Where I had to catch the ball. It's sad.
And our presenting sponsor, folks, is BetMGM, and that's where I'm looking right now at the line shift. What do you got, BJ, for a best bet on this Friday?
Well, we have a lot of meaningless games on this slate, so I'm going to pick one out there. I like the Padres White Sox under 8.5 runs at even money. Nick Martinez will be on the mound for the Padres. Mainly a bullpen guy. Only started 8 games so far this season. If you look at his splits between being a reliever and being a starter, his numbers as a starter are slightly worse. But what he's very, very good at, actually elite at, is generating a lot of soft contact. He's in the 99th percentile for average exit velocity allowed, 96th percentile for hard hit rate allowed. Going up against a White Sox lineup who I think is the definition of quit. As we've gone further into the season, dead last against righties in weighted on base average, dead last over the last 30 days in terms of weighted on base average and weighted runs created plus. Dylan Cease will be on the mound. And if you look at his overall metrics for the entire season, He's been somewhat average around expected ERA, just around 4, but he has been pitching better as of late. His stuff plus over the last 30 days has risen up towards 125 when for the season he's been sitting around 115. And he's, obviously the Padres have been hitting the ball better as of late, but, Cease in the month of September has a 328 xFIP. His K per 9 rate is up at 11. The walks are way, way, way down in September, only around a 2 walk per 9 rate, when throughout a lot of the season, he's been around 3 or 4. So I think the total's a little inflated here, especially with this White Sox offense, with how bad it's been and how much better Cease has pitched. So under 8.5 runs, projected only 7.7 runs for this game.
No Lou Bob too.
That's true.
Padres technically are not eliminated. Is that correct?
It would the Marlins that are up 2-1 in the 9th would have to lose that game and the rest, and the Cubs would have to lose out, and the Padres would have to win out. But the Mets were up 1-0 in the 9th, blew it, give up 2 runs in the top of the 9th, and the game got called. So, yeah, and they would need a miracle from the Mets, which is, I think, the hardest thing to ask this team to actually try and score.
Oh, the freaking Padres! They won't go away, and they're in Chicago tonight. BJ likes under. Very good. Let's find out if we're going to fade the public today. Let's see where the public's looking. And the public, no surprise, looking at one of the games that matter today. There's, like I said, off the top, 5 games or so that really matter for teams that are in the thick of this thing. Like Charlie's back in the Cubs today. BJ's on a gross, meaningless game. Kind of. The Padres are still in it. But looking at Cardinals and Reds, 77% of the bets, 95% of the cash coming in on the Reds, Charlie, over St. Louis. Looking at BetMGM, and the price here, Brandon Williamson, -120. Woodford on the mound for the Cardinals. You can get the Cards at even money, +100. Totals at 9. Are you going to fade the public on a side, or do you have another play on this game?
No, I'm pretty much passing here. I don't like Woodford. I don't like how he projects. He gives up about a 50% hard hit rate and a double-digit barrel rate. xERA right around 6. And Brandon Williamson is also just horrendous. He's around a 5 expected ERA, doesn't generate swings and misses, low strikeouts, high fly ball rate. So I think if you want to attack this game, I would look maybe toward props, look toward, Goldschmidt and hitting a home run, or Jordan Walker, or Spencer Steer for the Reds. It's just one of those games that I'm upset because I had the Reds 14-1 to make the playoffs. They can't get out of their own way. Every time they have a lead, they blow it. The offense has just kind of sputtered a little bit. The bullpen has fell off the rails. So it's a no play from me. I lean Reds, I lean over, but I don't have like a strong opinion whatsoever.
Okay. And the Reds are a 1.5 out of the 3rd and final wild card spot in the National League. Miami currently owns it. Cubs a half game out, and the Reds are a game back of the Cubs and a 1.5 out from the Marlins. BJ, how about you? You're liking the public's on Brandon Williamson today.
Yeah, I don't like him. I do like the Cardinals in this game. I know it means nothing to them. They're completely out of it, but Brandon Williamson has been so bad. Like, he had one good month in August where his xFIP was below 3.5. Like, the strikeouts popped where he had a K per 9 over 10. But now he's back down to earth where his xFIP in the month of September is now sitting way over 5. I mean, overall for the season, he's a 4.77 expected ERA type of pitcher. The Cardinals are average against lefties, but still a good matchup for them. Woodford is not going to see the lineup through the 3rd time. Like, he's usually going anywhere between 3 and 5 innings as a starter. So I don't expect the Cardinals to just leave him out there, even though he does have really bad metrics. So I think you're just getting a motivation line here from the Reds is really what it is. So I'm going to take the value on the Cardinals, and where under a normal circumstance really shouldn't be underdogs to Brandon Williamson at home. It's
interesting because, and like the thing that I'm concerned about, right? Because I do agree that the line is probably a little bit inflated toward the motivation. Goldschmidt's banged up. We're probably not, and he was out of the line the last couple of days, and then Arenado and Contreras are out. So this is the hardest. I think this is the hardest part to cap is what we keep talking about is the motivation aspect, which I think, usually you want to look against the motivation for some teams, especially the Reds, where they can't get out of their own way. Because younger players tend to play up more, want to, make an impact. But
Right.
it's just so hard to get and I think this speaks to just a lot of the games on this slate. It's like half the starters, like you might even see, like we saw yesterday, Zach Wheeler pitched 4 innings and then was taken out because the Phillies have the playoffs clinched. They don't need Wheeler to pitch deep into games and risk injury. They just need to get little fine tuning. So it's interesting to see like how teams are going to attack stuff and why I think it's so hard to bet slate toward the end of the regular season in meaningless games.
Effing Phillies. My gosh.
Yeah,
7-game winning streak, 6 of those wins by 1 run. It hasn't.
The Garrett Stubbs hits his first home run of the season in a 1-run win over the Pirates. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And to BJ's point about Brandon Williamson on the Reds, his August was phenomenal. 39 strikeouts to 6 walks. And that was really just an exception for him. But they still lost. The Reds went 1-5 in his starts, despite how well he pitched. Okay, again, payoff pitch presented by BetMGM. Use the bonus code ACTION when signing up to get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if your first bet loses. For new users in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Welcome, Kentucky, to the show. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Get ready to hold your nose on this segment. Underdog of the day. Charlie, you're turning to Nick Pivetta and the Boston Red Sox, taking on the Baltimore Orioles, correct? They're playing the Orioles still? Okay.
Correct.
John Means on the bump for Baltimore. Now, I'm sure you probably got this at a better price because now it's Baltimore -115, Boston -105, totals at 8. You like the Red Sox. I hope you're right because I am sweating. 76.5 wins over. I thought this was I'm not going to use the L word, but I felt really good about it entering September. Oh, they don't care. And to share with the people, Red Sox fired Chaim Bloom at the beginning of the month. I forget the guy's name. BJ might know who they just hire as their new baseball ops guy, not the GM.
I'm not sure.
Okay. I'll look it up once you guys start talking back in this freaking baseball team. But they're so nonchalant finishing the year. And my rant is ending on this next sentence, I promise. Alex Spear, Boston Globe, covers the team. Basically the team newspaper because John Henry owns 80% of the Boston Globe. Alex Spear had a tweet last night that Alex Cora announced Chris Sale as his intended opening day 2024 starter in Seattle. They're already talking about next year's opener. I don't even know if Alex Cora is going to be the coach of this team or the manager of this team. And he's already announcing Chris Sale. Forget Ohtani. Forget who else might be out there.
No.
I don't know. But anyway, Charlie, you're back in this baseball team. Why?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's Hangover Friday. The Baltimore Orioles clinched the American League East last night. Mm-hmm. This is a great spot, and I think the sports books just hung a bad number originally, and I still think the Red Sox should be favored in this matchup. The Orioles are going to sit a lot of their starters because, as we saw with the Phillies a couple days ago, they are going to party, and this is the first time they've won the AL East since, I believe it's 2014. So they have reason to party. These are young guys that have taken, the baseball hearts and are now in the American League East champs. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lineup that includes McCann, Kierstad, Urias, Mateo, and not Adley, Gunnar, and these other guys. And that's just the start, right? I like Nick Pivetta too. Brendan, over the last 30 days, who is sandwiched between Tyler Glasnow and Spencer Strider inside the top 5 in Stuff Plus? I might sound like Anthony Devondo, but it's Nick Pivetta. He's got a 364 xFIP, a 405 xERA versus a 425 actual. His strikeout per 9 is around 12. He's in the top 10% of all pitchers in strikeout rate. He's cut down on his walks. He's had his worst left on base rate since 2020, yet has across the board his best numbers. So due for positive regression here. His biggest issue is barrels and fly balls, but against a lot of these below average Orioles bats and in the Orioles park where right field or left field is so big, I'm not too worried. So I think the Red Sox are a great spot here. I grabbed him first 5 and money line. John Means just came back from injury. He's made 3 starts. His expected ERA around 5, his xFIP around 6, and actual ERA is 2.6. So negative regression due, and obviously it's harder to pick or positive or negative regression for pitchers when you have a 27, 30 game sample size. But this is a guy who just came back from injury, who has a small sample, who has a 93% left on base rate. And just, I think this is a great spot to back the Red Sox. The Red Sox are going to put out you would assume their best lineup. We don't know if Devers gets sat or Duvall gets sat and whatever it is, but you would expect they have the better offense. They have the better starting pitcher here. And I'm assuming Yainer Cano will not go, and they'll have the better bullpen as well. So I like the Red Sox here. I think they have the advantage in all 3 areas and think they should be favorites.
Brian O'Halloran was the name I was searching for, BJ. New role in baseball ops. So he got a promotion, but they don't have quite the, he'll be the senior as executive vice president of baseball operations. There you go. I hope Kevin Brown was invited to the celebration last night, John Angelos, for the division.
I hope so too.
Yeah, you'd think so.
He deserves it.
Okay, BJ, you're in alignment on this with Charlie. You are backing Boston. Right. You just bet him. You just put it in the app. Plus 100.
I did. I'm just going to echo everything Charlie already said, and I prefer the team that's sober, Brendan. That's just my thinking in this type of scenario. I mean, yes, they're going to bench a lot of guys. And a lot of the guys they're benching are the young guys, and young guys like to party, Brendan, and they like to go out later, other than guys who are sitting in their 30s, like myself, who like to cash it in at 9 o'clock after a few beers. So I like the Red Sox. I'm echoing what Charlie said. Obviously, Nick Pivetta has been pitching much better. John Means, small sample size, but, he's got a close to a 5 expected ERA in his first 3 starts, and that's kind of what he is. He had a couple good seasons, around the pandemic season, but he's always been around a 4.1 or a 4.5 range of expected ERA. So stuff plus is about even. So I agree with Charlie. Nick Pavetta's the better pitcher, and I prefer the team that's sober. Hopefully, hopefully they're sober. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they've quit on the season, so maybe they're not. Yeah. I don't know. But
again, they've already announced the manager, who I don't know if he's back or not, has already announced his starting pitcher for next year. Who knows if he even makes it through the offseason. And Charlie got a good price. Charlie got plus 120. He put that out last night in the app. So hopefully he got that good price.
Yeah, it's anytime a team clinches, take the other team and you'll get good closing line value. Yeah, well, but even then, I took the Pirates plus 180 and grabbed the plus 1.5 at minus 110. And the line closed around plus 110 for the Pirates. And then the plus 1.5 run line had to have been like minus 170, 180. So like you'll get closing line value on all these games, especially with the hangover lineups. And the Angels beat the Twins a couple weeks or about a week ago too, when the Twins clinched.
Yep. That's a great article idea, by the way, is to go back in history and look at what the record is of teams who the day after they clinch, of like what their actual record is. That'd be an interesting article to do. I'm not going to do it now.
Maybe I'll do it.
And probably next year.
That's actually a great idea.
Yeah, next year, if you got to put a reminder in for me, maybe I'll do it. But
Action Network intends to have BJ Cunningham
This seems like an Evan Abrams type of.
I'm gonna talk to Evan. I might do it.
Yeah, he'll have a much easier time doing this than me. So
yeah,
Action Network intends to have Evan Abrams write division clinching article in 2024.
Yeah, it's honestly a great idea, because every game, I think the sports books put out a bad line and they do look aheads and whatever. And then it's a perfect opportunity that if you see the clinch happen, as soon as the Phillies won on that walk-off, I went and immediately bet the Pirates. Like I went and put half a unit on their money line and 2/3 of a unit on the 1.5. And obviously I profited barely because Garrett Stubbs hit his first home run of the season, but it's all together. You'll always get about, a lot of CLV.
Full disclosure, I've been mostly just sweating win totals. Not betting a lot of individual games. I think Charlie and I bet the Tigers together when I was at HQ.
You were.
Maybe I will just, BJ, Michael Lieboff of the Wonder Goal Pod and just hockey for us too. He talks about pain. Maybe I'll just bet the Red Sox tonight. Yeah. Along with some other college football that I'm on, and just really make
Michael hate, but you got to remember, Michael hates betting. He's told me that so many times. Yeah. So,
nice life he lives.
Yeah.
Okay. Final bets, so we can get out of here. And like I said, Monday through Friday next week, playoffs, wild card preview on Monday. BJ, you've actually, speaking of the Tigers, you like the Tigers today.
Yeah, why not? I mean, this is a spot where I don't think they
not?
should be significant underdogs. I mean, they're sitting at -104, but I think they should be more significant favorites against Cal Quantrill, who, I mean, he does this year after year after year where he outperforms his expected metrics, but this season it's not really happening for him. You know, his expected ERA is well above 5, but so is his actual ERA. And Joey Wentz hasn't been a great pitcher this season, but Cleveland cannot hit lefties. They can't really hit the ball well over the last 30 days. So projected the Tigers at about -120. So I like the value on them at -104.
Joey Wentz, any relation to Carson?
I don't know. That's a good question.
No.
I
He's
doubt
a
it.
moose. Lefty, 6'5", 220. 3-12 record, an ERA of 6.5 for Joey Wentz.
He was the
Tigers
starting
at home.
pitcher. He was the starting pitcher when I hit the home run parlay. It was him and Joey Lucchese.
He is
Speaking
having a
of which-
better September, 4.8 xFIP in September when his xFIP in August was, but his xFIP in August was 6.6. So he's improved. You laugh, but that's improvement.
Charlie, you're on a pitcher prop tonight. Are you going to do 777s with all the murkiness surrounding lineups in this time of year?
I am. Yeah, I have it coming out. I already have 2 picks. I'm still trying to figure out the third.
Okay.
But
give us the pitcher. Give us the pitcher, and then give us the 2 hitters that you're eyeing for 777s.
Yeah, so this is a good look from I got it from one of our colleagues, or I guess contributors, prop bet guy, JP France under 16.5 outs. I love this spot. So we saw in the Astros Mariners game 3 of the series, the series finale, where it's a must win for both teams. Pitchers or managers are quick to hook their starting pitchers, especially when they get into damage, danger, whatever it is. Bryce Miller got taken out immediately after the 5th. I know DeMundo hit his strikeouts under prop on him. Well, JP France takes the mound in this series starter, and it's a meaningful game for both the D-backs and the Astros, though more so for the Astros because they are now just 1 game above the Mariners without the tiebreaker. So they need to win 2 out of 3 to make the playoffs. And JP France is probably the worst pitcher that's going to start for them in this 3-game series. He has a 5 expected ERA and ranks in the 55th percentile or worse in every single advanced metric of starting pitchers. So when I look at this game, I'm expecting them they had a day off yesterday after the win against the Mariners, but they threw the kitchen sink at the Mariners. They won. They have a rested bullpen. Jose Urquidy is also a long reliever that is in the bullpen. I expect Dusty to pull France early, maybe even just the first time through the order, get him out. It's one of those games where they need to win. And I think France is going to be the first guy to go. And if you look at his recent game logs, he has 5 innings or less in 3 of his last 4. So this is when it matters. I think he's going to get the quick hook. So under 16.5 outs, I like JP France there. And then quickly, Corey Seager and Gleyber Torres, both 2 of my 777s. Corey Seager's around plus 300, 330, and that's a bad line. He hit a home run against Wu just 5 days ago. He is on fire. I like him here for his total bases and home runs prop. And Gleyber Torres plays Jordan Lyles, who gives up a lot of barrels, put the ball in the air a lot. And if you look at his underlying metrics and his graphs at Fangraphs, his rolling fly ball and hard hit rate, he's hitting the ball a lot better. So obviously that game is more meaningless, but Gleyber has been hitting a lot harder. So it gives me kind of reason to believe that he's going to come and he's going to try, especially with the unknown that's comes in the offseason. So I will have a third later, but Torres, Seager, home runs, total bases for now, and JP France under 16.5 outs.
Okay, be sure to check out Charlie in the Action app. Also, the article, actionnetwork.com as well, works to find the full 777s article coming out very shortly. Okay, gents, great work this regular season. Want to say that. We got a lot to go. Still got a whole month of playoff baseball. BJ, Charlie, Sean Zarillo, Tanner McGrath, Colin Whitchurch does a great job on the written side as well, kind of managing all of you and then putting you in the right places. DeBundo. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody who's joined our podcast throughout the year, and that's the
Tanner.
Worst. I said Tanner. I said
okay.
Tanner.
I wasn't listening.
That might be it. That might be everybody.
Maybe Colin Whitchurch might have filled in from time to time.
Colin did some preseason stuff. Yeah, Colin and
our fearless leader.
Yeah, Colin and Zerillo had a great article or a great pod before the year started about the new rule changes, at least in the off season. So that's the worst part about naming names too and thanking people is if you forget someone, you're an a-hole.
Yeah, you're getting a DM later from someone.
Yeah.
Oh, Jim Turvey. Jim Turvey helped out.
Turvey did a couple. Yep. Okay. Great stuff, guys. All regular season. Thanks to David Payne, our audio producer, who gets our podcasts up every single week. And Matt Mitchell, we'll thank him, I guess, too, for what he does. Love you, Mitch. Okay, that's it. We are back, folks. Monday, our wild card preview. Monday through Friday, all of October for Payoff Pitch, covering the postseason. We are presented by BetMGM. Again, don't forget to download the free award-winning Action Network app. Leave us that 5-star rating, too. Get in the habit of that. We'll try to do some giveaways during the playoffs as well. For Charlie DeSturco, BJ Cunningham, Brendan Glasheen, thanks for listening to Payoff Pitch, Action Network's MLB betting podcast presented by BetMGM. Playoffs start Monday. We'll talk to you then.